Hi, welcome to Pardon My Frenchie. This is me, 143. If you don't have a friend, you have one now. Welcome to another edition of the Kitchen Edition, where we are mixing up fun in the kitchen. And this week we are doing more of a savory option. We've been doing a lot of the sweet stuff for the past few weeks, which our pets love. So now we're going to do something that they may not like. Just kidding. We are going to do something that they do like. So in kind of the spirit of the old song, eat your peas, eat your carrots, go to school and listen to your parents. Who doesn't want to be a Hulkamaniac? Our dogs do. And so did kids back in the 1980s, if you remember that song. Aged a little bit, didn't I? But anyway, so we are going to make our dogs big and strong like Hulk Hogan was back in the day. Anyways, we are going to be making today cheese and veggie bites. So with that, I know that I have certain dogs that love vegetables, and I have certain dogs that do not like vegetables. Coco does not like vegetables. Lola does not like vegetables. Rosie loves them. So with regards to Coco and Lola, I have to mask them with either cheese or other things, and a lot of times I have to, just grind them up and put them with different items. So these biscuits are actually very healthy for them, and the dogs don't even know that the veggies and the good stuff are in there for them. So this is perfect. This is perfect for a dog that, they can get all the nutrients in there and still have a healthy treat and keep their bodies, going. And like I said, I know that we've been doing a lot of sweet stuff, which is also good. Everything that we've got on this channel is healthy for a dog. Nothing that we're putting in here is not healthy for a dog, but this is more on the savory side. I think for the next, few, we're going to be doing more, savory fun options, and then we'll switch to, some sweet stuff as well. So let's get started on these cheese and veggie bites, because I did again bring out my the baker's friend, the treat maker, because I really did like that. So I've got our treat maker out again. If anybody did find one of these, again, check your local Goodwill, because as we talked about this past week, you can find these there, or you can go online to Amazon. They do have those there. I did bring out my silicone pans again, or even if you have another pan, and I brought out little treat ones too. Or you can, if you want, I know it's not Christmas season, but you can get your little cookie cutters out, and you can roll this dough out on, make it flat, roll it out, take your little cookie cutters and, make little shapes out of there. You can actually roll it out, with your little rolling pin. You could just do little strips, do whatever you want. Make them any way you want, and then just throw them in the oven. These are really simple. And again, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, but if you want to make it in cute little designs, you can do that. Again, you can be Martha Stewart-y. We do love Martha Stewart. So anyways, it's your world. Make it any way you want. But let's have fun with this recipe. Now, this one does require some pre-prepping, and which I did do, because it does take about 10 minutes to do this one a little bit. So this does call for 1/4 cup of finely chopped celery. So I grabbed some celery and I chopped it up real good, and it calls for 1/4 cup of finely chopped carrots. Now, was at Kroger. You can also get shredded carrots if you don't want to chop them yourself. So you can go for that option. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that and you're going to put 2.5 cups of water in a saucepan on the stove. And you're going to boil that for about 10 to 12 minutes. Now, I've already done that part because it takes a little bit longer, and I didn't want us to have to sit and wait for that. So once that boils, it's going to make your carrots and your celery, it's going to be very nice and soft, because that's going to go into our mixture. And so once that's all nice and soft, what you're going to do is you can take a potato masher or something like that, and you're going to mash all that together so that it makes it just a little bit softer, because that's what's going to go into our dog biscuits. Now, another thing I'll point out, and I want to also point out, when you're looking up dog treat recipes online, and or if you're, trying to find healthy dog treat recipes, make sure that you are paying attention to the ingredients. And the reason why I'm saying that is the recipe that I found for this one is a very good recipe. However, it did include an ingredient that I am not comfortable with, which is why I left it out of this treat. And so I will never put a recipe on this show that I think, or I'll never put an ingredient in one of these treats that I feel would be unsafe for one of your pets. And granted, now I don't know if your pets have allergies or anything like that, so you'll have to be the determining factor on that one. But there are certain ingredients that maybe people online may put into their recipes that I don't feel personally that I would give to a dog. So if I'm doing a recipe on this channel for this, if I don't feel it's safe for any dog's consumption, I'm leaving it out of my recipes. And I would suggest you do the same. If there's something that you're seeing on a recipe online, just because it's in their recipe doesn't mean that you need to include it in yours. So with that being said, like I said, this one did call for an item that I did not feel comfortable with putting in here, and then also, including it into this. So I've done, pet loss for years, and I've known that ingredient has, had the ability to, hurt animals over the time. So anyways, all I'm saying is that when you do go to look at different things online, just kind of make sure, what you're looking at. If you don't feel comfortable with, you don't have to include it. A lot of these items aren't staples, so staple ingredients. But anyways, moving on. So after you take your celery and your carrots and your water off the stove, you're going to let it cool, which is fine. So we're going to let that cool and sit there. And while that's cooling, we're going to put that off there, and we're going to work with our other ingredients. So now our biggest one when we come with our dog treats is going to be our wheat flour. It's the one we use with almost every recipe. And this is going to be 3 cups of the whole wheat flour. And I'm going to throw that in my bowl. So I'm going to start with this. So we got our whole wheat flour, 3 cups. Let's stick this right here. So then this one also calls for 1/4 cup of wheat germ. So I'm going to throw that in there. Now, fun fact, wheat germ, if you're going to be doing this recipe, wheat germ is found over by the oatmeal. So if you're going to go do this recipe, if you're not familiar with buying wheat germ, you will find it over by the oatmeal section. It'll be by your cream of wheat and everything else. So don't be like Jen and be like looking in the baking section and all over the place. It will be by oatmeal. I don't often buy wheat germ. That's why I didn't know where it was at. So it's over by oatmeal. So we're going to put in that 1/4 cup of wheat germ. So I'm just going to kind of mix that up real quick while I'm doing that. So next, we're going to put in 1 cup of our quick cooking oats, like your oatmeal. Of course, it's not cooked. It's going to be your plain oats. So I'm going to mix that in there. And one thing I will say on this recipe, it does make quite a bit. I was impressed because normally some of the recipes that I've been using don't seem to make a lot. And so either I'll have to double some of them or what, but this one made quite a bit, which was nice and impressive. So that was nice. So I've got that 1 cup of quick oats, getting that in there. The next we're going to have a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to throw that right in here. Get that in all mixed up. And getting this going. So I'll tell you what, like, again, these items are just so easy to make and healthy and fun and quick. I mean, just so quick to make. And you know what's going into the mouths of your dogs. They're happy, we're happy. I know every time I do these videos, the dogs are happy because they look at me and they get excited. The next we're going to go with a 1/2 cup. This is going to be low-fat shredded cheddar cheese. I went with the mild. I guess you could do sharp if you wanted to, but just low-fat cheddar cheese. It's just a 1/2 cup. I'm going to throw that in there. And that there. So I'm going to move that in there. Just kind of mix all this in here. And all right, once we've got that going, and let's see. And then we've got our 1 egg. 1 egg in here. This and this. And get this all mixed in here. And like I said, I mean, look at all that. You've got all of that in there. That's a lot of batter getting mixed up. And I'll tell you what, when I was when I made my batch yesterday, it smelled so good. I mean, it was like smell, you know, I mean, it really, really smelled good. I was really impressed. Either that or I was just really hungry. One of the two. But so good. So that's all mixed up. So now I've got my mixture. It's the 2.5 cups of water with the celery and the carrots all chopped up in here. So I'm going to add that to the mixture here. I'm going to do a little bit at a time and start mixing that in so that we get things kind of evenly going through here. And kind of the nice thing too with treats like these, and a benefit for me is that these don't really require any decorating. So yay for me. Because as you can see in my previous videos, that is not a strong suit of mine. So, put this in here. Oops, put the rest of that in there. And this going. Mm-hmm. Getting all mixed up. Yeah, it is. It is looking great. It's almost there. We are almost there with this being all mixed up here. But like I said, these are just easy. 1, 2, 3 recipes. Like I said, the only long part on this one is the pre-work, is having to boil the carrots and the celery a little bit before. But other than that, I mean, super, super easy. And then you have these, you know, like I say, when we put these in you can either put them in the treat maker. You can either put them in the treat maker or the little, I'm going to get a different, I'm going to actually use my hand a little bit here to get the stuff on the bottom. Mix it in here, get a little bit more because my one spoon is not working as much as I want it to. So, but yeah, I mean, again, besides the pre-work, it's, other than that, it's really a simple recipe. And your dogs will love you for it. So, and who doesn't want our dogs to love us a little bit more for it? For all the unconditional love that they give us. So, all right, almost done. And then we will get this put in our treat maker. And then I'm going to put some in our silicone pans too. And I will then show you the product here. So hand wash there. But like I said, I'll show you here how much dough this is. It is a lot of dough for what you get. So we've got a whole lot in there. Let me move this off the side. So we're going to start with our treat maker. Open that up. Start putting these in here. Then grab a little fork or spoon would be fine as well. Let's start getting these in here. And like I said, you'll see how super simple these are. And how nice they come out. And then I'll show you the final product. But yeah, in the beginning, I don't know how, after, gosh, how many years, I remembered that old song from the 1980s, from the Hulkamania album. I don't even remember if those are the exact words, but it was something like that, something close to that. I'll have to look it up on YouTube to see if those were the exact words, but it was close to it. I just remember there was something hokey like that when I was growing up. Hulk Hogan would coach kids on doing the right thing, and which was good. I mean, you wanted to, I think back then in the 80s and 90s, everybody was a wrestling fan, and so it was always a good motivation to eat right and do the right thing, because who didn't want to be part of the Hulkamania, right? And be big and strong and do the right thing. So, but yeah, for some odd reason that just popped in my head when I thought of vegetables. So, I guess Rosie and Coco and Noir can all be little Hulkamanias, or little Hulksters. I think that's what they called them, little Hulksters. So, good Lord. But so maybe somebody can send this video off to Hulk Hogan, and he can tell me what the words were to that. So, I don't even know if I think he's got a dog. I don't know what kind of dog he has. I'd have to look that up too. But Hulk Hogan, if you have a dog, I'll send you some dog treats. How about that? I would be more than happy to send you some dog treats. So if anybody knows Hulk Hogan, send him the video and I will send him some dog treats. But all right, so I am almost done loading these into the treat maker. And let's see. This in here. Guess I should have used this a little bit more. Almost done with this, and I'll get the other one started going in the other one. But yeah, everybody almost done. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to slap this down, close her on up. There we go. There's my paper towel. Let's see. There we go. All right, close her on up. We'll let that one sit, and then I will get started on putting these other ones in here while we're waiting for that one to cook a little bit. And again, that'll make her little treats. This one makes a lot of little treats, which is nice. And then this one should actually go pretty quick. And I did know when you do put these the silicone ones in the oven, these don't take long at all to cook in here. They go on 325 for 325 for about, I would say about 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, and they're done. So, and then, like I said, you take them out, let them cool off, and you have a delicious dog treat. So, and healthy and strong. So your dogs can be nice and healthy and strong, which is what we want, right? And they will love you for it. So let me see here. Those are still cooking. Let's see. Almost there. We're going to be getting some of our other episodes out this week for the Pet Loss Show. I know we have, we're going to have a kids episode of the Pet Loss Show coming up. That's going to be a very good show. I wanted to start gearing some of the, or I wanted to start doing a Pet Loss Show for, or I wanted to at least do a Pet Loss Show for kids, involving some kids and answering some kids' questions with regards to pet loss and grief. I recently was speaking with somebody who had a child that was dealing with pet loss and grief, and I really think it's important to have a show that answers some questions for a younger audience. And we often have trouble in that area on knowing what to say when or how to handle a situation when a pet dies with a younger person. And it's kind of hard sometimes to juggle our feelings and their feelings at the same time, because it's, when you're grieving and they're grieving, again, pet loss is it's a different level of grief, and everybody grieves differently when it comes to a pet. So you may grieve one way for your pet, and person in your family may grieve another way for the pet. So it could be the same way with you and your child. You may grieve one way, and your child can be grieving, harder, or, so you could be missing signs that you just don't want to miss. So, anyways, that's what this show or that show will be about. It'll just be some, just helpful tips and tricks, and maybe answer some questions and help some kids. So be looking out for that one. That will be coming up hopefully in the next week. So, and then we'll, of course, have our regular topics coming up and so forth. And then we'll be having these more kitchen shows and all that fun stuff too. So, but we are almost done with this one. And that is one thing I found with this recipe compared to the other ones. These do take a little bit more time, and I think it's because the batter is a little bit thicker in the treat makers. Because remember a few episodes back when we put the batter in the treat maker, it seemed like it took our little light went off, so kind of made me into. So here, let's do this. Let's open her up and see how it looks. See what we got here. Oh, look how wonderful. Look how beautiful that is. Beautiful. So these came out lovely. Lovely. So let me get a plate here. And I'm going to take these out. I'm going to get this batter off my hands. But I'm going to take these out. I'll put that in there real quick. And I want to show you how beautiful these look. They smell so good. If you've ever been to a Red Lobster, it smells like those cheddar baked biscuits. I kid you not. If you were here, you could smell them. But it actually smells like those cheddar baked biscuits. And I swear your dogs will think the same thing probably too. That's another thing about these treat makers. They come out in one spot. But let me close this up, and I will put this over here. But let me pull some of these apart. But yeah, they're all in one sheet. But look how pretty these are. And I'll break these apart. But I mean, these are like absolutely perfect. They smell amazing, and just absolutely fabulous. So these are going to be soft in the middle and a little, crunchier on the side. So these will be a little harder and a little crunchier. But man, these smell so good. So I'm going to put those to the side, and I will show you. I'm not going to bake those as of right now, but I will show you the final. Throw that over there. I will show you. I did bake these yesterday in that tin. Man, I've got dough all over the place. But I will show you. So I made these yesterday. So we've got these, and I made the little paw prints, and then made these again. So, I mean, I've got a whole plate of these wonderful treats here. And how simple and how easy. And again, smell amazing. Smell absolutely amazing. So you've got a healthy cheese and veggie treat. And Miss Noir is over here. She smells them too, because they do. They smell 100% amazing. They just smell wonderful. So she is actually going to get a treat while she's sitting here, because she's been such a good girl during this whole thing. And unfortunately, she has a very squeaky ball, and she loves it so much, but I had to put it up so that she wouldn't be squeaking it during the video. So I am sorry, Miss Noir. But she will be getting her ball back soon. So that's good. And it is not animal abuse that I took away her ball during the video. So, but you will be getting your ball back because you were a good girl. But anyways, so I hope you enjoy this. I will be putting this recipe at the bottom. And yeah, this is definitely a great one. Another thing is too, I mean, oops, I just dropped that one. But anyways, great little bags. You can find these online. You can find these at Walmart had these as well. I'm going to take some of these right now, and I'm going to bag some of these up for some neighbors and some friends. Give these as a gift. These are perfect little gifts to give. And again, healthy little treats to make people happy, make dogs happy. So until next week, if you don't have a friend, you have one now. Hit that like and subscribe button. So till next week, have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Let's go!